Welcome to Scone, Bake, and Beyond. Hi, I'm Kathy, and I enjoy making scones, muffins, cookies, and all sorts of delicious baked goodies. Today, I'm sharing with you my recipe for turtle bars. These bar cookies are loaded with pecans in the crust. I made a chewy, yummy caramel filling, and then I added some milk chocolate on top and more pecans. My daughter loves those turtle candies. I'm going to surprise her with these turtle bars. So let's bake. Okay, let's get started. So I have here an 8" by 8" baking dish, and I'm going to make a parchment sling. So what I did was I took a piece of parchment, I put it in here, kind of creased it so I know where to crease it at, and I'm going to spray the bottom and the sides of my baking dish just a little bit, just so that this pretty much sticks to it. I'm going to put that in there and up the sides. There we go. I did the same thing with this parchment paper. And what I'm going to do is spray a little bit on the bottom there and along the sides, so this one will stick in place also. And that's my parchment sling, and that helps get our bars out of here rather easily. So I'm going to set this aside. Okay, it's time to make that crust. So I have here 1/2 cup of toasted pecans. I'm going to put them in the food processor. I'm going to process this for 10 seconds until they're a nice fine crumb. There we have it. That's been 10 seconds. There we have a really nice fine crumb. We're going to add this to our mixing bowl here. And to that, I'm going to add 1 cup of flour and 1/3 cup of brown sugar. I'm going to whisk this together. Now that that's whisked together, I have here 6 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to grate this right into the flour mixture. There we go. All of our butter is all grated in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this with my fingers here until all the butter is incorporated with the flour mixture and it becomes like wet sand. Okay, it's like wet sand where I can squeeze it together, it sticks together, but it crumbles right back apart. And that's what I'm looking for. There's no more clumps of butter, and I can squeeze it together, it clumps, and then I can break it back apart. And that's what I'm looking for when I'm making the crust. So it's all mixed up, so I'm going to add one more ingredient, and that is 1 tablespoon of golden syrup. That just gives it a little bit more of a little caramel flavor. But if you can't find golden syrup, it's okay to use light corn syrup instead. So I'm just going to use my spatula here just to mix it in a little bit, and then I'm going to have to work it in with my fingers again. And then we're going to mix that in just like we did the butter. So now we're going to get our baking dish here that we made our parchment sling. And we're going to pour all that in there. We'll level this out with our hands. Okay, now that's evenly distributed, I want to tap it down to get it all compacted together. So either you can use a little tapper like this, and this comes from an espresso machine, or you can just use the bottom of a measuring cup, but something that's flat. So I'm just going to tap it down and make it nice and compacted. So we're going to just get this all tapped down, and especially around the edges. We want to get around the edges and make it compacted in there. There we go. I preheated my oven to 350 degrees. We're going to bake this for 20-25 minutes until it's nice golden brown. Okay, it's been 23 minutes and it's nice and golden brown. So we're going to let this cool and we're going to get started on the caramel filling. So we're going to get started on the caramel filling, and I have here 3/4 cups of cream, of heavy cream, and I have a little pot on medium heat, and I'm going to just warm that up till you get little bubbles around the edges. I'm just going to let that sit there until it kind of starts bubbling a little bit around the edges. All I want to do is just warm up this cream because I don't want to put this cream in cold into my liquefied sugar. Okay, we're just starting to get little bubbles around the edges and some right up on top. And that's all we're looking for. We just want to warm up this cream and that's all. So that's what we're waiting for. So we're going to take this off the heat and just set it aside and it'll just stay warm. So now I have a medium to large pot here. I'm going to put it on the burner and that is also on medium heat. I'm going to add 1 cup of castor sugar. And what we're going to do is we're going to let this sugar liquefy. And I put my candy thermometer now. We don't need the candy thermometer right now, but you do need a candy thermometer when you make this, this caramel. But we don't need it right now, but we will need it later, and I don't want to put it in later when that sugar is really hot. So I'm letting the candy thermometer kind of warm up with the sugar too. So we're going to let this sugar start liquefying, and once it does, we'll use a wooden spoon and we'll start scraping the sugar to the center so that it starts liquefying evenly and caramelizing. As the sugar starts liquefying, you don't want to leave your sugar. Anytime you're making caramel, you never want to leave this pot. You don't want to multitask or do something else. You want to stay right on it because it can go from just starting to cook the sugar to it's burnt. So you want to be really careful that you just keep on staying with it and you just keep on scraping the sugar to the center as it cooks. And then once the sugar all gets liquefied, then I'm looking for that nice amber color in my caramel. And then you're also looking to see how clear it is, because if there's some milkiness to it, your sugar isn't totally dissolved yet. So you're waiting until it gets totally clear and a nice, beautiful amber color. There we are. It's starting to turn that wonderful amber color. You can start seeing the bottom of the pot and all the sugar is dissolved, and that is what we're looking for. There we go. We're going to take this off the heat and we're going to slowly add our warm cream, and this is going to bubble like all get out, so make sure to kind of stand back and watch the steam and have a nice long spoon here. We're just going to pour this in slowly and stir. Once the bubbles subside, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of room temperature butter. I'll just add it one at a time here. I have here 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. We'll add that in. And 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. And we're going to keep on mixing this until it's nice and smooth. Okay, the butter is totally incorporated. We're going to put this back on the heat, and now we're going to bring it up to 240 degrees, and that is called the softball stage. And we're going to bring it up to that temperature, and that'll make a nice chewy caramel. Anything higher than that, the caramel gets too hard. Anything lower than that, the caramel starts getting too soft. And about 240 degrees, that softball stage is just perfect. And that's what the candy thermometer is for. So we'll just keep on stirring this until we get up to that stage. Okay, it's 240 degrees. I'm going to take it off the heat here. Move my candy thermometer over there. This is really hot, and this can take about 10 minutes. So we're just going to pour this on our hot crust. Just going to spread it around just to even it out, make sure everything is covered in this caramel. There we go. Okay, we're going to let that sit there and cool completely. Okay, our caramel is cooled completely, so now it's time to get the chocolate topping on top. So I have here 7 ounces of milk chocolate chips because my daughter likes milk chocolate turtles, but if you like dark chocolate turtles, go ahead and use dark chocolate chips. We're going to put this in the microwave for 15 seconds and stir it, and we're going to continue that till they're almost melted. The chocolate is totally melted and it's nice and creamy. So I'm going to take our caramel here, and we're just going to pour this on top. We're going to take our offset spatula and we're going to cover all the caramel with this melted chocolate. And then we have 1/2 cup of toasted chopped up pecans, and we're going to sprinkle these on top. sit here and just kind of push them down a little bit so that when you go to cut them, they just don't all fall off. We're going to let this sit here for about 10 minutes and then we're going to refrigerate it for 15 minutes. Okay, it's actually been about 30 minutes since I put it in the refrigerator. I guess it's a little warmer than I thought when I thought my caramel was totally cooled down, so it's taken a little bit longer to get that chocolate to set. So I think it's set now. So this is why we make this parchment sling, because you just pull it right out of the pan like that. And take your parchment sling and take that piece off. Usually I just cut it with the parchment sling on there, no problem. So we're going to cut this into 16 pieces, so 4 pieces that way and 4 pieces that way. Just cut right down the middle here. The chocolate in the middle is still just a little bit underset. It's okay. We're going to cut it. I'm just going to cut this that much, and then I'll cut it in the middle here, and I'll just cut the rest later. But I thought I would just cut it well enough that I could show you what a piece looks like here. You see the pecan crust there, and then that caramel filling in there, the chocolate on top and the pecans on top. This is all the flavors of a turtle candy, just in bar form. So now it's time to take a bite. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut off a little piece. See if that's small enough. Hopefully I didn't cut it too large, and just take a bite. It is just like one of those candies. You get the crunch and the flavor of pecans. That caramel is nice, soft and chewy. And then that milk chocolate. This is so good. Yeah, it's just like eating one of those turtle candies. My daughter is going to love these when she gets these. For the complete recipe, please go to my website, sconebaking.com, and there is a link below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe. And also, if you're a subscriber, please hit that bell icon, and so that you get notifications every time I upload a new video. I hope this recipe inspires you to bake. Thank you for watching. Gonna have some more.